Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Tosh TV. Welcome to Tosh TV podcast. Hey, Taja, can you hear the claps?
Yep, I can hear the claps.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So today's title of the show is "Do Black Americans Have a Victim Mentality?" The reason why I asked this is because all these NBA players, all these NFL players, these NASCAR drivers, everyone is saluting Breonna Taylor. I understand that she got gunned down by police, and that's never a good thing. But, and this is a but, she was doing some dirty shit. And if you ask me, that's why the cops didn't get charged with murder or even fucking manslaughter or even negligent homicide. They didn't get charged with goddamn anything but shooting a wall. And that's why. They're not going to tell us everything, but they did say that she was under surveillance for many weeks. She was known to have a boyfriend that was trafficking narcotics, heavy pounds. We're not talking about small bags. We're not talking about nickel and diamond, heavy pounds. And here's another issue I have with this. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal said it best. She'd still be alive if her boyfriend didn't shoot a cop. It's simple. It's simple as fuck. They didn't go in there blasting. If they went in there blasting, then I would agree with the argument, but they didn't go in there blasting. So here's the thing. With that being said, are black people victims? Do we love playing the victim role?
All right, you threw me off with this now. I mean, I knew we was talking about black people having a victim mentality, but when it pertains to this situation, I mean, it doesn't matter what anybody else is involved with. Is it okay that they went in there? If he was shooting at somebody, the police, whatever, is it okay that they went in there and shot the wrong person
Well,
at the
think about it
same
like
time?
this. It's a dark room, and the house is dark, it's pitch black.
She don't look like him. I'm not convinced.
I mean, I think it's been debunked that she wasn't asleep. So I don't know where the narrative came that she was laying down sleep and they gunned her down. No, she was on her feet. I mean, she got knocked to her ground or to the ground by the bullets, of course, but she was not laying in bed sleep. So that narrative is completely false. The black man, her boyfriend. Why aren't we blaming him? Why are we not blaming the black man?
I think the attention got off of him. If it, however it started, I think because the reason why he's not being blamed, just to answer that question, I think is because the attention's not on him because the way that it's all about the way that a picture is painted to America and society and to our communities. Um, the picture that was painted is that you have a black woman who was at home asleep, who was gunned down by police, and nobody was charged with anything. And I think that's the only thing that people are sticking to. It's just like, for example, um, I shared with Tasha something that I was going to share in our group chat, and I said I'm going to say this, but I said, but let me not say this because if I say this, this is going to be the thing that our mom or our aunts stick to and go with. And I think that's the same thing that's happening with this
What was
situation
it? What were you
is
gonna share?
I'm not sharing that.
Come on, share it. Share it. What were
I'm
you
not
gonna share,
sharing that.
Dave?
I'm not sharing that. I just think that may be the reason why there's no attention on him. Um,
Mhm.
but I still don't think that it's right that she was gunned down in any. I don't care whatever the situation was. If they're going after somebody who shot at them, if somebody who is selling big bags of narcotics, then I feel like that's who they need to go after. It's always somebody innocent. I feel like being
But was
being
she?
killed
But
in
was
this
she
situation.
innocent?
Well, when you said that, I kind of looked like, do you know that? Like, I mean, I don't know if she was fully innocent either, but do you know that she
Okay.
wasn't?
I'm gonna connect the dots here. I mean, Candace Owens. I don't really dig Candace Owens most of the time, but yesterday she connected the dots the same way I did. So I have to give her props on that. So 2016, Breonna Taylor was an EMT. That story about her being an EMT now or before she got gunned down is false. She got fired because of the boyfriend that they were looking for that night that they killed her. That boyfriend was involved in a homicide in her vehicle, so it got her fired from being an EMT. She was watched. They had her apartment surveillance the fuck out. She was being watched for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, trafficking dope. Trafficking. Which gets me to the boyfriend that shot the cops that night. Why
But
was
why
he
didn't they at
sleeping?
that point? You said something that stopped something that should the conversation should have stopped. And at that point, if they know that she is doing the trafficking of the narcotics, why at that point when you said that they knew she was doing it, why didn't they go in there and just get her then?
Well, you gotta understand, they gotta know for sure that the dope's there. The whole no knock warrant is stupid. I don't agree with no knock warrants. They should have just fucking busted in there during broad daylight and got the dope. Um, I think they were just going in there to get a bust. I really do think it was just a bust, and I think they mistook the boyfriend that was in the house for the ex boyfriend. I do think that was a fuck up on their part. Of course, they shouldn't have killed her. I'm not saying she should have died,
Yeah.
but I'm going to say that black people are victimizing her when, in all actuality, if it was a group of Negroes that were going in there to rob her and they smoked her out, this would have never made the news. You wouldn't have seen blacks
I mean,
marching for her. You wouldn't have seen Mexicans marching for her.
I agree with
See,
that
that's my
part.
thing.
That
So,
if, but that's the thing about just our government in general. It's like we talk about it. It's a conversation. This is a conversation that me and you've already had. We talk about it if the other race is doing it to us, or if there's abuse in power. But we don't want to talk about. We don't want to have those hard conversations about black on black crime. Definitely, if a group of, I'm not gonna say a gang, but a group of black individuals went into her house and killed her, took everything out of the house, this wouldn't even be a conversation. I mean, it would have probably would have made the news about, oh, a black woman got killed, yada yada yada. But I don't think
but
it
not
would
national.
be as,
It wouldn't have
yeah,
been
it
big.
wouldn't be like this. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But you know, I guess you can say that I'm kind of like the rest of the world. So because in my head,
No,
I'm
I
still
agree.
thinking, but in my head, I'm still thinking like I don't agree with the fact that even if it was the boyfriend, that they go in there and kill her. So
No, they no one should have died that night. I really believe that she shouldn't have died, no doubt about it. But the boyfriend caused the death. Yes, the police shooting actually killed her, but the boyfriend, if he didn't discharge his weapon, no one would have died. People would have got stuffed in the paddy wagon, sent downtown for questioning.
but
I mean,
why they acting so scared to go after him?
That's my thing. Here's my thing. Like, why is this black guy who's not even involved in the drug trafficking? He wasn't involved at all. Why is he sleeping with one eye open? Why was he sleeping with his finger on the fucking trigger like that? I get it. You stand your ground, motherfuckers break in your house, no knock warrant, you're gonna start busting. But why was he feeling that way? I guarantee you the law enforcement there know why he was feeling that way. I guarantee you, and that's why he didn't get charged for shooting those cops. I guarantee there's evidence that state that there was some issue between Breonna Taylor and the ex-boyfriend. I guarantee you.
I feel like, I mean, and then before even going to court, they had already gave them a settlement of $12,000 or $12 million or whatever the fuck it was. But I think I mean they're like, in their eyes they're like, okay, well, if we give them money, maybe that'll shut the black community up. But then at the same time, it didn't. And like I said, it didn't. But like I said,
I have my own reservation about that. I think it will shut the black community up once the money begins to be spent. I think people will forget, just like Mike Brown. You don't ever hear no one talking about it anymore. You hear no one talking about it. In a matter of months or years, this will all become water under the bridge again. And sad to say, but that's just what it's what it is in America. They pay off the issue. Yeah, right now it's a fucking issue, but a year from now, is it going to be an issue?
I can't disagree with you on that being on this not being a conversation. But I think there are people who are trying to still make sure that it is still something that's still being talked about by reposting, by doing all that stuff. But I guess to go to your question of are black people victimizing themselves or keeping them victimized? Um, I think it all depends on the education you got because my initial answer is yes because of I guess when I think about just us and how we was raised and where we was raised and things like that, a lot of when I think back on the blacks in those communities, yeah, but when I'm going out and meeting other people and talking to people who are in certain positions, I mean, in my head, I'm like, no, I think it's all a mindset, and I think people have to change their mindset.
True, I agree. People have to change that victim mindset, but it's gotten so far freaking out of control. You got it to where now black people, when they get pulled over by cops, they start recording. They start recording. They're still not complying. It's as if they want a lawsuit. As it feels like they're fishing for that cop to go overboard. I've seen videos where cops are just so fucking frustrated that this guy's not listening to them, and they're trying to be civil with them that they go off the hinges. You have to remember, most of these cops, most of these law enforcement personnels, they're ex-military, and a lot of them they've seen war, they've seen battle, and they're scarred. The VA was notorious, especially under Obama and Biden, was notorious for not giving the veterans the proper help they needed. Well, those veterans are protecting our streets. So once you give them some type of form of attitude, some type of form of being combative, they're gonna go fucking off the deep end. Just pure fucking rage mode. So I feel like, with that being said, when you have black people refusing to show their ID, trying to just argue with the cops, I know my rights. I know my rights. You're asking for one of these fucking these cops with PTSD to do something unthinkable, like shooting you.
But
Now
at the
you do
same
have
time,
situations. You do have situations where cops are just fucking wilding out, and they need to be severely punished. I mean, I'm not making no excuse for them motherfuckers. They wild out, get that motherfucker in prison. Go sit down. Go sit down for a little bit.
yeah. But I was just gonna say because you said something that to me when I hear that it's a little. I don't want to say the what you're saying is contradicting, but I
Mhm.
will say that what you said is that these veterans were not or is not receiving the right treatment that they
Mhm.
should have gotten. But at the same time, that's to me that's a mindset thing. That's something that they
Is it
know they need. They know they need.
PTSD?
They know they
PTSD.
need. It's all about the mindset. I mean, a lot of mental health stuff is a mindset. It always starts here.
Okay.
Everything starts here. So when you say that, it's like, okay, so they out here killing people, or they out here, oh, if you say one wrong thing to somebody and they're
Mhm.
gonna snap, they
Mhm.
thought about that first.
But did they?
Did they? I
Sometimes,
believe they did.
sometimes, sometimes it's muscle memory.
Yeah, true. But I believe that. I believe it was a thought. I believe everything starts with a thought, and that's how I think, because even if they didn't think about that in that moment, when they were walking up to that person, they could have thought about what they were going to do if X, Y, and Z happened. When
Uh huh.
they're sitting at home and they're in tune with what's going on in the world, they're probably thinking like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z if this ever happens. So they've already had the thought
Yeah.
of what they were going to do. So like when you say like, are black people you know victimizing themselves or staying
Yeah.
in that, I guess, in under that label of being a victim, shit, if you ask me, police officers are too at the same time, like.
Well, yeah, yeah. Cops as well. They victimize themselves. It's like we're in a fucking a battle of victimization here. It,
Mm-hmm.
it, who's the biggest victim? Who's the biggest
Right.
victim, the blacks or the cops?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Me and you talked about this the other night about white people because white people get gunned down more, and not percentage wise, not off of the not off of the general percentage of the race, but
Hmm.
white people get shot and killed more by police officers than blacks. And I asked the question, why is it that no one ever sees these videos? I mean, it got really deep, and we'll get deep like that today. Fuck it, I'm going there. But I want to know: is it because black people are deemed weak to the media, so they portray us how they see fit, and white people are deemed strong? They're deemed to be Vikings, you know, the big brolicky. I'm taking over. I can't show my weakness. I can't show a white guy getting gunned down. Now we have seen videos of white guys getting gunned down, but the majority we see are blacks, and that's why it has this misconception out there that blacks are only getting gunned down. You see what I'm saying? So I wonder, does the media feel like black people are weak? You see what I'm saying? Do they think we're victims?
um, I think that also goes to when you talk about the media. I guess I'm thinking the reason why it's okay to put out there that a black person's been shot, or or whatever. I think it's because of, I don't want to say
Hmm.
this because I love black leaders, I do, but I want to say sometimes it's because of the black leaders we have in certain positions, and
Oh, it's all good. And call them out by name. Jesse Jackson, who you haven't
I'm
seen since
not calling anybody out by
2008.
name.
Reverend Al Sharpton, who's the biggest race motherfucking baiter out there. What's his name? Don Lemon from CNN. That motherfucker creeps me out sometimes. Who else? Who else are we naming out here? Barack. Fuck it. Name Barack
I
out.
love all of them
Call
because
him out.
I get it and it is needed. But sometimes, we can't be doing the same thing that we were doing in 1960s and 1970s. I think sometimes
Exactly.
we have to change because our world is forever changing, like we see now right in front of our eyes. We have to change how we approach things, and that's my take.
Mhm.
And I think also that goes to black people being victims and staying victims in their mind. They have to change that mindset. I mean, that's just what I think. So
I I think you're right. Okay, okay. So I think you're right with the mentality that black peoples need to change. All this marching and all this bullshit. It seems like black people, we can't conform to today's society. Like shit we were doing in the 1960s, you know, the marching across Selma and all that shit. Like I still think we were still behind the curve then. You know, our leaders still to this day haven't told us to buy anything. They haven't promoted being owners. It's like the common folk telling the common folk we need to be owners. When you look at white people, when you look at Mexicans, when you look at Arabic people, when people come to this country, the first thing they do is buy something. When you go to black neighborhoods, urban neighborhoods, I'll say, the first thing you see is a rented something. You have a rented home, you have a rented car, you have a rented chain. You'll have everything rented. There's no ownership in the black community. And I think if black people were to smarten up and start buying things, because the black dollar is very fucking powerful. We could literally put a lot of these companies out of business if we just stuck to black products. But we don't. We don't
yeah,
because we're everywhere. Black people are everywhere. You know why we're everywhere? Because we want to be victims when shit happens. If you ask me, the victimization that black people put on themselves is what stops us from buying things, from owning things. We get it in our head, since we're a victim, you owe me something. Well, this world's not a kind world. The first thing as a black man, when you're a kid and you're raised by a black mother, the first thing that black mother tells you is, son, you were born with two strikes already. Your
Mm-hmm.
first strike is you're a man. The second strike is you're a black man in America. What happened to that saying? That right there told me as a kid that I don't have room to fuck up. You know, no one's gonna give me anything because I already have two fucking strikes against me. And this is me thinking as a kid. But now we're going to this you owe me something mentality because of victimization that we've put on ourselves. Granted, the media helps us feel like we're victims. So it's like it's a complete mind fuck. It keeps us stuck in
I
this
think what
fucking
happened.
mind frame.
I think what
Huh?
happened. I think what happened with people, I guess, not telling or not, having that talk with their sons or whatever, because I think it's a talk that needs to be had with women as well. But what happened is you have a lot of parents. I'm gonna say parents, not just mothers, but parents who are not that in tune with reality
Mm-hmm.
and what's really going on. And it's so sad to say that, but it's reality. A lot of parents are worried about the next man they're gonna get,
Mm-hmm.
the next, you know,
Do
the
you do
next
you
the
bel-
next
do you believe
shoes.
the lack of father in the household contributes to that?
Yeah, shoot.
Mm.
I'm just gonna be honest. Our mom was head of household, so I mean,
Would you call yourself a victim?
no, not at all.
Exactly. See,
But I think
that's
it's a
my
mindset that because that's my mindset of it.
true.
What is one thing that we always told mom? I think like a lot of people used to always talk about their parents, being
Mhm.
together, raising their kids together, and one thing that I know me and Tasha have always said is that our lives would be probably completely different if our parents had stayed together. So, sometimes it's not about them staying together. I mean,
So
our mom did a
would
great
you
job.
say that would you would you say that a single parent household conditioned you for the worse?
I'm gonna have to say yes because I think one thing that one thing we saw and one thing that mom, I guess, would say, and I think she would do this unintentionally, definitely, is something was always negative. And when I think negative, I think the worst. And it's not a bad thing because now that I'm grown, now that I'm about to have a child, I'm always thinking about what it is that I want to say to my own child or I want to do with my own child because I don't want them to think that everything is negative and everything is
Exactly.
gotta go downhill and that nothing that and that's the thing, that is the way it is. Life is the way it is because it is the way it is because we didn't have X, Y, and Z when I grew up. We didn't have this, but in reality,
Mhm.
changing the mindset and changing the conversation that no, you can do this, you can be this, and you can have
Mhm.
this. And like you said, it goes back to also to ownership. That's
Mhm.
something that our mom don't own a house, but you own a house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
about that change in mindset, and then also just the language and how you talk and what you tune into. So,
Mhm. I call it getting out of the nigga shit. A lot of people, a lot of black people, we are entrenched in this nigga attitude, and I'm saying it as a negative. I mean, I use nigga only amongst my family. Now I'm black. Fuck it, I can use the word, but I really don't like when I hear white people use it, so I don't use it out there like that. My thing is with black people is we when we stick ourselves in these situations to never get out of. Look at it like this: your old time hustlers hustled to get that upstate downtown apartment, sitting high, luxury, moving on up. Now your hustlers stay in the trap house. It's like the mentality of nigga shit is to stay in the swamps. to never change, to hold it down. Be this your rest of your life. People will respect you. I've already said how I felt like when you graduated college. I felt like certain people, I'm not going to name these people, certain people got more celebration for getting out of prison than you did graduating college. And that's the nigga mentality that I'm talking about. It seems like but once again, victimization. When you go to prison, you're a victim. When you're calling people to put monies on your books, you give the facade as if you're a victim. When you're in college, you're independent. You're a go-getter. You're going to make it happen. Do you see what I'm saying? It seems like we celebrate victimization. It's crazy in the black neighborhood how much we are Jacob fucking Blake. I already told you about him. The guy was fucking about to go to trial for fucking rape, but yet everyone's wearing his name on shirts as if this guy was a saint. He was not even supposed to be there. That was a victim of the fucking rape. So either we will disregard black women's life to the point of celebrating a rapist just so we can say that the police ain't shit and fuck Donald Trump. How much do you think black women matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll sit here and we'll do all this for Breonna Taylor, but the victim of Jacob Blake, we totally disregard. Like, she didn't get raped.
Like, the thing about it, but see, that's what I'm saying. I just don't think a lot of things are told at that moment. It's like what you're saying. Somebody just pulls out a phone and records, and then it goes viral, and then we have to wait for all of the information to come out. And then, so first, people already have this thing in their head of, oh my gosh, did you just see that black man get shot by the police in the back? But and then when stuff starts coming out, and we like you said, we've already talked about this, and I didn't think it was right that they sit in the hospital bed and got him going to court and all this other stuff, you know. But it
all laid up.
But and then at the same time, I'm sure there were a lot of people, and I'm not gonna say that I was like this, but there were a lot of people who initially thought like, oh my gosh, another black man like pulled through. But and then when facts came out of his case of rape and all that stuff, I'm sure they were like, oh, F him. Oh no, like, you know. But
Were
then
they
there
though?
were some that were just like, well, this is how I first came out with my opinion on the situation, and this is how I'm gonna stay, regardless of what was going on.
True. So would you say that black people are headstrong?
Oh gosh, yes. Look at our minds too.
I'm going to segue into the next thing off of that. Donald Trump unveils the Platinum Plan in Atlanta, Georgia, black capital of America, which the crowd was big. It was all black people. He really delivered in front of all black crowd in Atlanta. Anyway, he's talking about making Juneteenth a national holiday. He's talking about empowering blacks to buy homes. There you go.
But
see what I was saying about ownership. Some people have, but there's a lot of uneducated black folk that don't know any of this. Like, I was kind of when I bought my home, I was kind of just going on the fly, you know, doing what I had to do to buy it. Thank goodness I had a great realtor, and you know, she showed me along the ropes to get this home, you know, to qualify for, you know, the loans and shit. But a lot of black people don't understand how to even bump their credit up. You know, a lot of black people, you ask them what their credit score, a lot of them don't even know. They don't even care. But if you educate black-owned businesses or educate on healthcare in the black community, or educate on how to qualify for these loans, you're educating black people to start owning things. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, there are already black owners out there, but the percentage is very small compared to every other race. And when we even talk about immigrants, when we're doing worse in ownership than immigrants, that's a fucking problem.
Well,
because
that's
we're
because
fucking.
I think immigrants, they from a, and I took an immigration class and it opened up my eyes a lot. But when you're an immigrant and you're in your country, you know, where you're from or whatever, I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, like some of those people don't have anything. They come over here to America and see what they can get with the dollar, what
Mhm.
they can do, how they can profit off of that. They don't do
Mhm.
anything but make all this money over here and eventually go back to their own country.
Yeah, I've had Mexican friends that live in Mexico. They come work at where I work at, make buku of dollars, go back down there, and they're buying brand new motherfucking trucks for dirt cheap, dirt
Yep.
cheap.
Hmm.
Buying brand new houses, $20,000. Like it's crazy, but we can't do that because we don't. For one, we don't have a national or a country we left. Like we are American, and this
Yeah.
is one thing I don't like. This is why I don't call myself an African American because at the end of the day, I'm American. I just
Oh
so
my
happen to
God.
be a Black American. If that's another thing, why can't we as Black people get over the African American tag, the Negro tag, and just label ourselves as Americans? Like, why can't we do that?
Well, you know, Africans, you know, there are Africans here who don't like that label African American
Mhm.
because they are, for one, they're not American. And they also believe that, you know, blacks and Africans are totally separate, totally different.
Oh, we are. Oh, we are, and I
They
agree
do
with.
really believe that. So,
I agree with them. As soon as they have a ship going back to Africa saying free rides, I won't be on it. My black ass is staying right here. We will not be going.
yeah.
You gotta understand that blacks did they caught us. They caught us. They showed us somewhere down the road there. We had a war and we obviously lost. We obviously fucking lost. So I mean, I agree. But I agree with the
But
Africans.
you
And
know,
I
and
do
then
also
it's
agree that they need to play.
like we don't even know our own history. You know, like for us that we're actually like, like you said, we
Uh-oh. You there?
yeah, my bad.
Okay.
I had a phone call coming in. Like
Uh-huh.
you said, we weren't born anywhere else. We were born here, and so like for us that we're born here, when you go through all this schooling and you know you're like, dang, like this all makes sense. I really like government. Like you think all this stuff, right? And then when you get
Uh-huh.
out into the real world and you see how our government, because this tripped me up, I'm not gonna lie. You see how our government really like kept us so put in a box, like, you know,
Mhm.
compared to other people or just other cultures and things like that. It's just kind of like, what is, like, you start to think like, what is our history, you know?
What if, and this is just a conspiracy now, I'm gonna go what if we never came from Africa? What if we all are from America and they came over here and conquered us? And in order for us not to feel bad about it, they made up some fucking whack job story. Have you
We
ever
were.
seen a slave ship? I'm just throwing it out there. Have you ever seen a slave ship? They got the shroud of Jesus Christ, yet they don't have a slave ship. You know, like I know, white people keep everything.
Mhm.
Everything. They have Confederate motherfucking statues from way back when, Confederate coins, Confederate shoes, Confederate socks, but yet they don't have a slave ship. They don't have anything that shows you that we came over here via the Atlantic slave trade. So what if we never came over here via the Atlantic slave trade? What if
I
we were
think
already
I,
here?
I think that's the reason why a lot of Americans who are black, I'm gonna just say African Americans, that's why I think that's why it's so much confusion on who they are as people, who
Mhm.
they, how they look at themselves, the confidence they have. I mean, like it's always a comparison game, just in anything that is done over here. And when you
Mhm.
have those other, like you said, immigrants or different people from different cultures who can come over here and really become a freaking millionaire, and we can't even do that, and we're from here. It's like, it's because we don't have a sense of self. Who are we? Like, what can we do? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. And I do think it's by design that they keep us in that lost train of thought. To me, that's victimization. They keep us in that victimization thought to be lost. A lot of everything we do, we're lost on. And that's why when I shared this Donald Trump plan. Oh yeah, I wanted to say he also wants to label the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, and Antifa as designated groups of terroristic organizations. I did want to point that out there. So he is trying to label KKK, which the black man before him didn't do, but he is trying to label the KKK a
My
terroristic.
goodness.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing that. I
I
don't
can't
see.
stand you.
Here's the thing. Like I like what Obama did as becoming a man of color. I'm not gonna say he's a black man. His mama was white. His daddy was from Africa. So he wasn't your average American black. They would never give an American black that stage. Not right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now. So I'm not going to say he's the first black president. That's why I hate it when white people come up to me when I disagree with them and say, "Oh, do you not understand that we voted a black man in?" No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you voted a man of color in, just like Kamala Harris. She ain't black. You're trying to vote a woman of color in. I get it. But I'm going to hold that motherfucker accountable. Because when you sit here and you talk this hope shit and this change shit, the talk that black people have been receiving from their congregations at church, that's what Obama was doing. He was taking church sermons and speaking to the black voters. And he knows how religious black people are. Black people are very fucking religious. He was doing that to get his way with the black vote. I don't respect that because he did nothing for it.
Very religious, but sometimes very religious, but not spiritual. And I think those two are very different.
Very different. Very different. Very different. I agree. But that's why I go at Obama so hard. I don't necessarily hate the guy. I mean, he just fucked up, in my opinion. He's going to make it hard for the next person of color via Latino, African American, whatever you want to call them. He's going to make it difficult for anyone to vote for a person of color again. But Donald Trump has unveiled this plan, $500 billion to be invested in the black communities around this country.
Mm-hmm.
And when I posted this on my Facebook, black people still didn't give a fuck. They still didn't give a fuck. They didn't even want it. I don't want it. So, with black people being that bullhead, how do they expect us to conquer anything? When a motherfucker is throwing something on our lap and we don't want it because it came from them. That to me is ridiculous.
I laugh because it goes back to what I had told you about when I was watching a little podcast with some comedians, and one of them said, you know, when black people finally get their reparation and America asks them, how much do you want? They're gonna be like, at that point, they're gonna look at each other and be like, well, damn, how much do we want? Like,
you ain't even gonna know.
What should we ask for? You know, they're gonna go for the, you know, like they're not even gonna know what to do then. It's because like I feel like we, because I'm a part of that you know, community as well. I feel like we just sometimes, it depends on who's giving it. And it's like what I told you, like, don't let your hate for Biden you know, overshadow what you're trying to do. But then like sometimes black people can let their hate for Trump overshadow the real thing that needs to be happening. So.
That's true. I will say black people are loyal. Black people are loyal. They ain't taking nothing from anyone they don't like. Fuck that. Motherfucker come around here with a couple $1,000 and I don't like him. Go and drop it off. Put it in the mailbox. Put it in the mailbox.
I can't say I'm not a fan of Trump, but like I'm gonna sit here and tell you that I don't think we should take the money. Like definitely, like there's things that need to be worked on
money.
in our freaking community. Like you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
But
I don't know. Like Aunt Brenda, she goes at me all the time when the whole stimulus shit came out. Even though we all were getting a stimulus, she pinpointed it towards me of accepting slave money.
yeah,
Even though she received a stimulus, her stimulus was slave money because she don't like Trump. So mine had to be slave money because I like Trump. You take your slave money, unbelievable.
yeah, I like that. Because you didn't even see your stimulus, so
Right? Like I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just living the life.
I know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think fucking Donald Trump deserves a chance. I think he does. I mean, prison reform. He got fucking hundreds of black people out of fucking prison. He has the zones, the initiatives to pump money into these zones in the urban community. He's trying, and I here's the thing: out of all these fucking presidents of years past, he's the craziest motherfucker in my mind to actually do something for blacks, just to fucking piss white people off. Donald Trump's he hates everyone. He's a billionaire.
The thing about
I think he would do.
He's not your, what am I trying to say, like an average candidate for presidency.
Mhm.
That's the thing. And a lot of people were so upset of having like you said, a person of color in the office that they didn't care who they got in at that time. I mean, I can't say that for you because you voted for Trump back then, I guess.
Oh, I voted for him.
But you know, I don't.
I didn't think he was going to be this good.
Oh my goodness! Now I just don't think he's that candidate that everybody, I guess wants. Like you said, he's really upsetting the white people, and
Yes.
And then black people just don't like him because he's Trump, because he's not a president. He's a
That's
billionaire
new,
and a businessman.
That's new. Black people loved Trump when he was the Playboy Trump.
There are some people.
But when he became president, all of a sudden niggas didn't want nothing to do with him. It just blew my mind. Literally the year prior to 2015, so I think 2014, Snoop Dogg did a roast with Donald Trump. I think they were roasting Justin Bieber. Like they were best buds, sitting there, you know, probably smoking weed together, probably fucking hoes together. But all of a sudden, Snoop Dogg talking this crazy shit. I'm gonna beat his ass. Snoop, sit your skinny ass down before you get shot by the Secret Service, Snoop, bro. What's wrong with you? Tripping. I don't know. To me,
that goes back to, like you said, black people are loyal.
Yeah, I think if Donald Trump was a Democrat, black people would love him. Would love him.
That's true.
Yeah. Just because he's banging red, you know, motherfuckers don't put that red shit.
That's just
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up today. It's been like 40 minutes. All right, Tasia, you wanna give them your social media accounts or anything?
No, because I'm hardly on there. So
hey, go to Tay Riley on Facebook.
no,
Tay Riley.
It's not even Tay Riley, so don't go there.
It's Tasia? Oh, it's Tasia Riley. Tasia Riley. She's about to have a baby. Congratulations, Tasia.
Thanks.
Good conversation. I'll call you guys later, though. We'll probably chat it up on the group chat.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.
Peace.
All right, yo. Well, this was the first Taj TV podcast. I want to thank you guys out there. It's been great conversation with my sister. She was pretty cool. And I catch you guys later. You guys take it easy. Peace.